per capita. So I just don't understand why you think affirmative action has accomplished its purpose. I don't see
Curious,
that.
why do you assume that just because there is a disparity means it's because of a racial issue?
What else would it be from?
I mean,
Bitch, what are you talking? Bitch, what? Good question. What else would it be from? You silly bitch. You silly bitch. Like, what else could it be from?
What would it be from?
I mean,
Upbringing, economic abilities,
Desire to
skills.
go.
Desire to go to college. Desire to go to school. Bitch, do you not know when they freed us in 1865 that we became 50% motherfucking literate when we was at 1% literacy? Do you know once they freed us, we became standard, we became at the top of our class. We moved up so fast. What we did in 20 years, people ain't doing 100 years once they freed us and gave us opportunity during Reconstruction. Now you think we don't want to advance ourselves? The fuck you talking about? And the conditions we live in was manufactured by the government. The government took affirmative actions on creating our poverty. They created our poverty. They created every negative thing you got to say about Black Americans is all contributed of the actions of the white United States government, Democrats and Republicans.
I mean,
So
zip
it
code
was their
does
fault
play
then.
a lot. If you grow up in a neighborhood that experiences a lot of trauma, you're not as likely to do as well in school, which means you're.
Why did they grow up in a neighborhood that experiences a lot of trauma?
I mean, lots of people do.
Lots of people don't know, bitch. White supremacy is a reason. See, he's not even saying it. The white dude knows, but he's not saying it. But all these alleged Black people are acting dumb like white supremacy doesn't exist.
Yes,
live in
but
a-
why specifically do more Black people?
Government assistance program.
Yeah, government assistance programs like public housing, FHA, welfare, and all that shit that incentivize the fucking Black family to be dismantled at the same time unifying white. Right, government assistance program. The FHA GI Bill was one of them. Because at the same time they gave them houses and family structure, they gave us nothing and incentivized to break up the community. That is the family, the community. It's like that. It's just a Black home. Because a kid could do good without a father in the home, long as there's other fathers in a proximity. Long as uncles or grandfathers, something. Because sometimes fathers die. They ain't always absentee fathers. And let's keep in mind, Black Americans are the best fathers. Y'all don't want to be on the same playing field. White people love white supremacy. They're conserving white supremacy, white privileges, white gifts, white goodies that the government has to provide. When we get government assistance, it's called welfare. When they get it, it's called subsidies. When the white banks get it, it's called bailouts. When white farmers get it, it's a subsidy. When all these fucking homes are going into foreclosure, these white homes get it, it's called a subsidy. Word games. The same definitions, different words, and our word is always the ugly one. Democrat and Republicans are word games because a conservative Democrat and a liberal Republican are the same thing. They're the same people.
Government assistance programs, like what?
Try redlining.
I mean, you can go into that if you'd like to, but let's take
It
a
is
look
relevant.
at the Great Societies Act, which was created to kick Black fathers out of the home and get Black mothers on welfare assistance. These things aren't beneficial for economics. These things aren't beneficial for actually paving a way for success for Black children and Black families. I mean, reducing a two-family household to a one-family household isn't going to make them the richest man in the world. It isn't even going to get them out of high school. Nonetheless,
Let's stop saying single parent household and start saying single parent communities. Fuck a household. We are a collective. They have two parent communities. We think in micro, but they live in macro and they know it. Stop saying single parent homes and start saying single parent communities.
You mean
the ability
parent.
to even get to college.
You mean
Yeah,
two-parent?
the child, yes, but a two-parent household
Yeah.
in comparison to a one-parent household, that child is not going to be nearly as successful. That child is more disposed to being sent into prison by doing crimes or not doing very well in school. So
All kids from the hood who go to prison don't do crime. This for living in the community, you could go to jail. This for being Black in that community, you could go to jail. Not only top of that, you could be Black in the white community and still get harassed by police, if not arrested too. Nigga, how many TikToks we seen of Black people who live in communities get harassed by cops and Karens? It's even worse in the hood. See, it's you ain't exposed to, young man. Innocent Black people go to jail too. Shit, it was vagrant laws. They did nothing. It was Black codes. That if Blacks not having a job, they go to jail for that. When white people took all the jobs out of the community, white people wouldn't employ them. White immigrants formed unions so they couldn't get jobs. So they criminalized them. We always criminalize. What are you talking about? That's what I'm saying. They always get young kids. They make our kids be in positions that adults supposed to be in. George Steiny was killed at 14 for something he didn't do. Little girls died, or little white girl died. Just accused him. Gave him a fucking electric chair. They treat us like adults when we're children. When we go to jail, they charge us as adults. White people do the same exact crime. They don't go to jail. They get therapy, get hospital until they're 21. They give us 100 years at 19, 14, 15, 16. When the brain don't develop until people are 25, 26. I don't think men really mature until they're 40, 35. People think that because Sexy Red say a bunch of ratchet shit that we don't like her. We don't give a fuck about Sexy Red. We worry about the children she's affecting who sing her songs because she's opening the door for little black children to get sexualized as an adult. That's something we just can't stand for.
How are they even supposed to get that, that wealth disparity shrunk if they aren't even able to get out of the community that is causing these problems for them?
Something I think that this conversation illustrates is that affirmative action is literally the very end of the line of a lot of different parts of a person's life. And by that point, trying to rectify all of the inequities that have existed, to try to remedy any of that at the very end with affirmative action, it might just be too broad a brush. And maybe we'd be better served focusing on the earlier issues than trying to throw a kid who maybe, can barely read at a 6th grade level into a college to hope that that's the thing that fixes the problem at the end of the line.
There is no illiterate people getting affirmative action going to college. It's not happening. See, that's the thing about white people, man. No matter how much right shit they say, they always show the white supremacists in them. Always say some undermining shit. All of them. Pick your best white person. They're going to say some underlining racist shit that's so subtle you might not catch it. We have no allies. We have no friends.
I think affirmative action wasn't really supposed to send kids to Harvard that weren't prepared to go to Harvard.
Affirmative action don't send nobody to Harvard who's not ready for Harvard. People spend long nights. And when blacks people do it, we don't get tutors. We don't get help from our parents. We don't get, we put in work for real. Nobody deserves Harvard or the best education in the United States more than black Americans do. Because we the only group who wasn't allowed to read. We the only group who built our own colleges here because y'all wouldn't let us in yours. Now y'all just flooding shit with immigrants and even enemies to the motherfucking country. Not enemies, but potential enemies. The Asians. Because compete with China. The Indians compete with India. They're allied with Russia.
I think that's quite a myth, in fact. I think those that have the qualities to get to Harvard were, before affirmative action, could just completely overlooked. Clarence Thomas is the perfect example.
Clarence Thomas is not a good example. That motherfucker got affirmative action. Though he worked hard, but after he got it, now he's against it now. Now he want to close the door and weld it shut after he got his. No one was against affirmative action 10, 20 years ago when they was getting their shit. Everybody was for it. Kwame was for it. Everybody was for it when they got their shit. That's not collective. That's selfish. That's individualism.
Regardless of what you think about him, he was able to get to Harvard because of affirmative action, because it focused on finding people that were just overlooked for those.
But things ended up changing. It morphed into something else. So what started out as a good program of giving all black people.
Who does this bitch sound like? Come on, this bitch just come out of Harris, my nigga. Close your eyes and listen to this bitch talk.
People with a lesser chance or lesser opportunity. It started out as that, and then it morphed. And I'm not sure who morphed it, but it morphed into, okay, so now we have to have one black, one Hispanic, one this, one that.
That's not how that works.
It wasn't supposed to be no Hispanic anyway. It wasn't supposed to be all black. Affirmative action was supposed to be all black. Only we fought for it. We was rioting for that shit. We was marching for that shit. None of you immigrants did nothing for affirmative action. None of y'all deserved it. Y'all was in the fucking way. Y'all fucked it up. So did the Asians. The Asians fucked it up more than anybody. Once again, the Asians was being fucking puppets. And they shot themselves in the foot.
But hey, talk to the corporations, talk to the people who hire, talk to the board members who say we need to have a woman on the board, we need to have a black on the board, we need to have a Latina, a Latinx, whatever on the board. So it morphed from helping us into now
Tokenization.
Yes.
All you are tokens. The audacity for y'all to say tokenization when you are standing there being fucking tokens. The fucking girl who says she's a black woman but she looks white is a fucking token. She's being a token black girl for white people to get a platform. Or you are being recruited by Dennis Prager for PragerU. I see y'all got pictures with this guy. PragerU preys on young minorities to speak his rhetoric, to speak his white supremacy for him. Look at Candace Owens. She be getting wrong information, but she be hard body on this nigga show saying a bunch of bullshit. Cause she looks like she's cause she's from the African diaspora in America. So people think that she's a black American. This bitch is not a black American. Nothing. Candace Owens is a bed wench. She was called niggers all through high school. She was called niggers so much she had to sue. She used the NAACP to sue. She was a leftist at first. Up until 6 or 7 years ago, she was a leftist. But she's a bed wench. The same people who called her niggers, the same people she married and had kids with. Caribbean. She's Caribbean.
So you have to have one of this, one of that.
Well, when you start with a country where people only hire you if you're white, that's necessary. And I know that you said that it started good and then ended whatever. And I don't think that affirmative action was perfect by any measure. But we still see really, really bad inequality. So if you're going to get rid of affirmative action, what's the replacement?
Meritocracy.
There's no meritocracy.
In order for us to have a meritocracy, right? Everyone must have a same starting point. When you have a 3-generation head start of home ownership, economically, the black person never inherit nothing is not going to have his merit going to mean nothing because he can't bribe people. America is based on bribes. You have to bribe and pay your way in America. So what meritocracy, you ignorant old bitch? A meritocracy. After you and your kids done got affirmative action, now you want to talk this meritocracy shit. Like white people didn't get wealth from slavery, didn't get wealth from the Homestead Act, didn't get wealth from the GI Bill or the Homestead Act. So we didn't hear nothing from slavery. We didn't hear nothing from the Homestead Act. We didn't hear nothing the GI Bill for 100 years. We supposed to have a meritocracy when this same white kid is about to inherit 100 years worth of wealth passed down 5 generations where this black kid is not inheriting shit but debt and stress. But we're supposed to have a meritocracy. Bitch, get real.
In this country. You look at Elon Musk, he's destroying Twitter. There's no meritocracy. That's ridiculous.
Well, first thing I want to bounce back to is it's not a myth that there are like minorities that are being put into colleges that they're not ready for. If you look at a lot
shit, no minorities be in these fucking places anyway. Shouldn't be nothing but black Americans. Minorities could be anything. It could be a Mexican, it could be a handicap, it could be a cripple. Nah, nigga, it's supposed to see the civil rights supposed to be the Negro rights. We fucked up by not claiming the name in our shit. It should have been called the Negro rights. Shit, none of y'all immigrants, shit, none of y'all Latinos, women, none of them should have had affirmative action. Y'all fucked. Y'all was in the way. Fuck a minority.
of these top universities, including Harvard, Yale, etc., you're going to see a lot of minorities on academic probation because they are being placed in universities that they are not ready for. They are not cut out for that just yet. And it even just makes sense if you look at how much they have to achieve in order to get there. Asian students on average have to score 450 points higher than a black student in order to get in the same university. So
who gives a fuck what an Asian got to do? Asians need to go to Asia. Go to Asia and get educated. If Asians got a problem with how America do shit, then maybe they should go to their fucking country of origin. Don't ask them to be here. Don't ask no fucking Asian on the Caribbean to be here. Nobody. That came on your own fucking merit. Your countries be giving y'all fucking money anyway. And y'all be getting that sex trade money. Y'all be getting them illegal gun. Asians be getting that illegal gun money. They be getting that fentanyl money. They be getting that bootleg money. Asians do all types of fucking crimes that nobody complains about or talks about. Fentanyl. Every fucking town has an Asian spa where they're selling pussy. I said this before. I said this on my third podcast saying so Asians are the only group that's allowed to do crime with no prosecution. So of course they should pay more and have to work harder to get in colleges. Y'all making the billions of fentanyl. Y'all making the billions of selling bootlegs. Y'all making bootleg clothes. Y'all bootleg DVD. Y'all bootleg everything. And they fucking and they crazy in the sex trade. Asians got more money than a lot of motherfuckers. And it because they work hard. They got a lot of fronts too. And also, Asians get to fucking exploit the black community. Why are you even saying that? How come there's always the fucking Asian in a black community? Why the fuck is no fucking black stores or black merchants in Asian communities? You think about that? You fucking coon? You fucking bootleg?
if you think of the universities that have courses, et cetera, that grade on a curve, you can only have so many people with an A, so many people with a B, etc. So that means that the bottom percentile is going to fail. Who is most likely, just based on logic, going to be the ones failing? It's going to be the people who didn't have the credentials to get there in the first place.
Where's this fucking fake narratives coming from? If a black nigga if somebody black got into the colleges, they work hard, they're trained for this, they built to go. They're not gonna fumble once they get in. It's the white people that's failing. It's the white people that got sports program fronts to get in through the back door. It's white people who got money to pay for their fucking grades. It's white people with the fucking tutors. It's the white people with the privilege in these colleges. It ain't the black.
Other admissions practices that may need to change, including legacy applicants, the children of alumni who often have preference and who are overwhelmingly white and from affluent families. Evan Mandery of the John Jay College of Criminal Justice has studied this closely and wrote a book about it titled Poison Ivy.
A new lawsuit against Harvard University is taking aim at legacy admissions, what's also been dubbed affirmative action for the rich. Now, 3 minority advocacy groups are accusing the school of discrimination by giving preferential treatment to the children of wealthy donors and alumni, who of course are overwhelmingly rich and also overwhelmingly white.
What its critics call a different form of affirmative action is now being challenged at Harvard University. 3 minority advocacy groups are suing the school over its legacy admissions, which gives preference to the children of alumni. This comes just days after the Supreme Court decision ended race-conscious affirmative action in higher education. CNN's Athena Jones, she joins us now with the details. And Athena, this has been percolating for some time outside the debate over affirmative action for racial preferences, the question of whether it's fair to give preference to the children of alumni. So where does this, what argument does the lawsuit make, and where does it stand?
Hi, Jim. That's exactly right. This is really a discussion about merit. What qualifies as merit? If you're going to focus on merit, can you also give special preferences to people who have a parent or relative who went to Harvard or who are big donors to Harvard? These 3 groups, the 3 Black and Latino groups, are joining together to say that no, that is not fair. They say that these legacy and donor-related admissions, they get preferential treatment. The vast majority of them, nearly 70%, are white, and so
don't worry about the black Americans. Maybe it's the Asians. Maybe it's the Caribbeans. It ain't us, nigga. It ain't us.
And then I have to bounce back to.
I want to get you on that point, because I would posit that the people who are least likely to have good outcomes in an academic setting are those who have to work 2 jobs, are those who have to drive there from home because they can't afford a dorm.
I agree. Even though these black Americans get into these colleges, they still got to work. Because their parents can't give them money to fucking pay for food, clothes, socializing, all this other shit. You know what I mean? Black people be stressed because they're not from these rich elite backgrounds, and they can't do what their parents doing. Nigga, so if we do feel it's because of stress, we can't focus, nigga. If anything, they need to let motherfuckers in college and give $100,000 a year for expenses.
Are those who have to go into crippling financial debt. These are and have other stresses in their life. They can't afford a doctor. They can't afford a dentist. They can't afford anything.
I had to do that too, though.
Those are the
That's
people.
not just black people.
Shut your poor white ass up. Bitch, you are poor because you white and because you come from a long line of ancient people. You ain't supposed to be rich anyway, bitch. White people are poor because they're naturally poor by nature. Y'all came here poor. Nigga, 500 years ago, y'all was all poor. The whole Europe was fucking poor. What are you talking about? You poor by nature. You are lazy by nature. That's why they have fucking slaves, because they're fucking lazy by nature. That's why they steal ideas, because they're lazy by nature. Money allows white people to get all the advantages because they're lazy by nature. They don't fucking work hard to get nepotism because they're lazy by nature.
Not just.
But it's
If we're looking at
overwhelmingly.
straight numbers, there are more white people in poverty than black people.
If you look at the raw numbers, but if you
I don't know,
actually
what are the
understand what
wrong
you're talking
numbers?
about.
No
The
number
issue
is
is poverty
wrong.
in general, though. I don't think it's like who's in poverty. It's like poverty sucks.
Maybe
It
we
shouldn't
should make
matter
college
who's in it.
free, and maybe we want to have
If you have a
affirmative action
program-
wouldn't be that necessary.
It'll get even more ghetto.
If people who go to college are not ghetto, you fucking coon. And that was gay too. You sounded real. That was ghetto. Like, are you bougie or something? You think you bougie? This nigga from the bourgeois class. He's a bourgeoisie. That's why white people reject you and black people reject you. You are a weirdo. You don't fit in. You don't fit in with blacks. You don't fit in with whites. You don't fit in with your own islanders. You lost your whole accent. Are you faking? Are you hiding your accent? You're not really you. You ain't comfortable in your own skin. You're insecure. You know, white people make you feel insecure about your accomplishments. You're not like us.
What about me would make you think that I care about your opinion of me? Your opinion of me is not the opinion that I have of myself. You ain't make me, so you can't break me. Do not allow my confidence to offend your insecurity. Do not allow my confidence to offend your insecurity, because I dress like I dress because I'm confident. I look like I look because he's confident. We walk like we walk because we're confident. I don't even use cologne. Now, somebody asked me, what is that you're wearing? I said, confidence.
Can't no fucking white boy tell us shit. Can't no white bitch tell us shit. They fear us. See, they fear, but see, they really fear us. That's why they got all this policing and shit. See, if one thing Democrats and Republicans both agree on is motherfucking policing, because they scared of us. They ain't scared of y'all. That's why they like, oh, y'all coons in. Oh, yeah, Caribbeans and Africans. No one's scared of y'all. Y'all docile bitches. Butt broken. Y'all like dick. White dick. Pink dick. That's just the truth.
You have a program that says if you are under a certain income level, this is how we'll help you. That will overwhelmingly help black people at a far greater percentage than it will help white people.
False. Because let's say it's 50 million black people, right? But there is 70 million white people that's poor. Because there are 70 million poor white people. Bottom class white people in America. There are only 50 million of us. So you think that it's because the poor are going to benefit, that you assume that the blacks going to get first dibs when there's more poor white people than this black whole population? Nigga, shut the fuck up. That's why you think you're so smart. You're not smart. You're stupid. And y'all don't get nobody to challenge y'all for real. You get fucking, first of all, the white people up there are in their 30s. The only old bitch up there is the old Kamala Harris. She like 60, but she's a coon. Y'all ain't get somebody real on your panel. Get some grown men on your panel. Don't get little Anakin. Get a black Yoda. Get some Yodas up there. You got the Claude Anderson up there. It'd be a whole different fucking outcome. It'd be a whole different conversation. Get Yvette Carnell up there. Get Umar up there. Get Charleston White up there. It'd be a whole different conversation. Y'all want me up there. I'm telling y'all don't want me up there because I'm going to scare the fuck out y'all.
Trump supports Black lives.
I think that President Trump supports all lives. I think that he looks at all American citizens as equal. I don't see him doing anything that would make you feel like he does not support Black lives. That's, of course, going to lead into the conversation of Black Lives Matter, which was a movement and an organization with so much corruption. Donald Trump not supporting that organization doesn't mean that he doesn't support Black lives. It just means that he doesn't support the fraudulent organization that's stealing so much money from so many people to do absolutely nothing with it, nor does he support a destructive movement that is destroying cities, communities, lives, etc. So I don't see why someone would think that President Trump doesn't support Black lives.
Fuck Black Lives Matter. The immigrant lesbian organization. Fuck them. Now, we seen how Trump treated Puerto Ricans. We heard how Trump talked about the Chinese. We know Trump fathers in the KKK. We know how he got sued for not letting people in his businesses. We know how Trump was against the Central Park 5, even though that was innocent, right? But yeah, this coon saying he think Trump believe in equality. Y'all just be lying, y'all just be fucking. How you just sit with a straight face and fucking lie and it's like you suck down much Trump. You just can't say the truth about this nigga. At the very least, the Black American be like, yo, he's trying to Trump or whatever. But y'all just be kissing his niggas. Yo, that pregnant you got y'all niggas fucked up. It's not even a real university. It's a fucking YouTube university. You don't get a degree for that. He just be paying y'all to be coons.
I've heard him say he knows all the best black people. He has all the best black friends. I do support black people all the time. Sorry, that was a very bad impression, but I don't think Donald Trump wants bad things to happen to black people. So in that respect, I think he does support Black lives, but the other side of that is he's not really doing anything. He didn't do anything as president, certainly, to uplift black people.
The economy affects black people.
Yeah, I certainly disagree with that point. One of the biggest things I supported personally.
The economy affects black people. The economy affects everybody. That's a lift. So you say you for the lift-offs. Nigga, you ain't no different from Kamala Harris, then, you fucking bozo. How you conservative but you sound like a fucking liberal? Nigga, he did nothing for us specifically. He gave everybody STEM checks, nigga. And I appreciate the STEM checks. He gave everybody STEM checks. White people benefit from that shit way more than anybody black did. Nigga, the economy, whether it's good or bad, affect everybody. That's not something for black people. That's not nothing specific. He did nothing for us. Trump did nothing for. I mean, granted, he didn't like arrest us and he didn't like he was on an immigrant's ass. We appreciate that, but he didn't do nothing for us.
Well, yeah. We'll get into that one later. One of the biggest things he did is he secured permanent funding for HBCUs, one of the largest increases we ever saw for HBCUs, personally done by his administration, among many other things.
$255 million for HBCUs, while other colleges got billions. He gave motherfucking schools billions. Who gives a fuck about a couple of million? And HBCUs ain't for black people no more. Nigga, it's more immigrants. Nigga, it's more black immigrants in them campuses than fucking black Americans. It's more Asians and Latinos in them shits than us. Why do you think they still up? Why do you think they still exist? Because they don't cater to black people. Historically, black colleges are currently supporting immigrants and others. White people go to them schools. It's just an institution. Nigga, helping a school doesn't help black people. He did nothing for people for poor people. He did no uplift for poor people. Nothing. He did zero. As George Bush did, just like Biden didn't do nothing, just like fucking Obama didn't do nothing, just like George Bush Jr. didn't do nothing, just like Bill Clinton didn't do nothing, just like George Bush Sr. didn't do nothing, just like Reagan didn't do nothing, just like Nixon didn't do nothing, just like Carter didn't do nothing. Nobody does nothing for us ever.
The First Step Act, which, there's a lot of debate about whether it was really the best thing to do, but that was definitely a kiss of love to the black race.
A kiss of love, nigga? Such a sweet ass up. Kiss of love. Shut the fuck up, Anarchy, you little weirdo.
Freeing Alice Johnson for menial drug crimes she committed in the past that had her locked up. She did not get to see her family for years.
He didn't free Tulu Shakur. He didn't free Matulu Shakur. He didn't let motherfucking Assata Shakur come back. He didn't free no black prisoner. He didn't free no real political black prisoners. People we need in the community. Somebody he freed a couple of drug dealers and a couple of rappers. Who gives a fuck about them? They don't help the community. They destroy the community. You little fucking goofy.
I supported Trump because he made the economy good, and so the economy then impacted black people, white people, Latino people. It impacted everybody. But Trump, he didn't think specifically, I don't think, about black people. He thought about himself, and he thought about how can I make America great for me, and making and I thought, you know what, I'm gonna go with this guy, and the reason I'm gonna go with this guy is because if he can make America great and he can make that it rise for everybody, I'm gonna benefit from that. So that's why I went, and that's why I voted for him. That's why I supported him.
How does that specifically benefit black people?
If everybody benefits, who gives a fuck about anybody benefiting? Politics is not for everybody. Politics is for certain groups. This is a competition. This is a sport. This is a team effort. Bitch, if we're on different teams, I don't want my fucking other opposing team to win. The fuck you talking about? Bitch, we all don't win in America. That's not how this shit works. Nigga, even if we get the same benefits, we don't get the same outcomes. Because let's say Trump gave everybody $5,000, right? Yeah, he gave me $5,000, but he got $1 million. So he gave him $5,000. Like, nigga, it ain't like he made everything even and equal. He just gave everybody fucking money. He's rich. He just balled out on us. I mean, I'm thankful for that. But my whole thing is, you too old to be that fucking of a Aunt your mama. Like, bitch, you need to pour some syrup because your old ass is the worst. And I respect my elders, but I can't respect you, bitch. No.
Again, he's a businessman, but he's also a racist businessman, and like well documented. So like
and Biden's not. Biden's not.
Yes, he is. He created the crime bill. So that's regardless of the point.
Address the Central Park 5. That's what you brought up, right? How do you feel about that?
Well,
he took
actually,
a full page after they were
so I haven't.
He wanted them to be killed.
Well,
executed just because they were black.
That story.
And he bars people from attending his businesses or like renting apartments from all his like stupid Trump towers. I
think Trump at that point was, like many people in this room, particularly liberals, a victim of the media. I think he was scared. I think he was ashamed of the things that he heard in the news and wanted to take action himself as a businessman, not as a racist.
Why are you infantilizing him?
Now this nigga cooning by a landslide now. He just got Trump dick all in his mouth now. He just sucking Trump the fuck off. It's like 18. Started off good, Anakin. So calling you Darth Vader now.
I don't like also real quick because keep bringing up this comparison to the '93 crime bill from Biden. That crime bill, this was at the height of like violent crime and the crack epidemic in the United States. The Congressional Black Caucus supported that crime bill. Everybody in the United States supported that crime bill. The idea that crime bill was like some racist piece of legislation that Biden was just wheeling out because he hates black people, and that's somehow comparable to the Donald Trump's treatment of the Central Park Five that were already exonerated. That wasn't a victim of the media. The media said they were done. They were exonerated in court. They weren't there.
I hear you, Destiny. The thing is this. The government, the CIA, Iran-Contra, created the whole crime epidemic, the whole crack epidemic. They're in that fault. So you mean tell me they made the conditions and we supposed to applaud them for making the law where they let Oliver North get away with like $4 billion worth of cocaine money, walk away scot-free? They ain't convict no upper echelon government officials during that whole thing. But Rick Ross and people like that and thousands of black men get arrested for life in jail for a drug that wasn't killing nobody. I mean, it was gun violence, but shit, there was gun violence in the 1920s and in the 1930s when the mafia was going crazy. There was no crime bill for them. They was going just as crazy as they is now, if not worse. Matter of fact, I'm sure they was killing more people back then because there was no technology back then. There was no radios and nothing back then. So, okay, they made a crime bill, but they created the fucking crime. They are the real criminals. Nigga, Bill Clinton, George Bush, Reagan all benefited from the crack crime. Joe Biden, I'm sure there was probably something. I'm sure there was getting cocaine money. Don't count that as a fact. I'm not saying as a fact because, but I'm sure they played a part. They played both parts. They let the cocaine in. They created the crack, gave the ingredients out, and they got to raid people, took their money, their possessions, and got to arrest them and get time out of them. And they got to provide jobs for prisons, for jails, and for people in the commissary. And at the same time, the fucking people who made the laws was invested in prisons. They made a prison. They made locking black people up a warehouse economy. That's what it's about. It wasn't about law. It was about making more jobs for white people and robbing black people of their possessions and their money. So what? It was drug money. They gave us nothing else. Of course, we fell victim to selling crack because you gave us no fucking jobs. You gave us nothing else. They knew what they was doing. They knew, okay, listen, they have no other means of financial wealth or financial gain. This crack is going to go crazy. And they knew. They test and do, they know what they was doing when they made crack in the black community. That was premeditated. But yet the people who did it, they didn't arrest themselves. They ain't charged themselves.
As I understand it, the prosecutor of the five, he was a black guy.
Shut up, you lying bitch. It was a white woman. You just told a blatant lie. It was a white guy. Kamala Harris, shut the fuck up. A lying bitch. Who was this old bitch anyway? I can't find her name. I can't find her bitch's face. This bitch, who was this lying? Oh, mammy, who is his Aunt Jemima? Who is his Auntie Tom? This bitch is the worst. I don't want to hear this bitch no more. First of all, you too old to be on the panel anyway. Be on the panel with your fucking peers. Angela Davis and them, they'll tear your ass up. You ain't relevant to your own peers, you old bitch.
And so in being a black guy, he went and he looked at all the evidence and said, these guys are guilty.
This morning, best-selling crime writer and former New York City prosecutor Linda Fairstein finds herself on trial in the court of public opinion. Her most famous case, the Central Park jogger trial, is now being retold on Netflix, known as the Central Park Five. The young men were wrongfully convicted and imprisoned for raping a white female jogger back in 1989. The story dividing a city. Decades before taking office, real estate developer Donald Trump spent $85,000 on ads in local papers, proclaiming, "Bring back the death penalty."
Black people can also be racist against other black people.
Or just make mistakes.
Black people can be racist with other black people. I won't call it racist. I will call it ethnicist. Other blacks hate black Americans. If we're the same race, how could we be racist towards each other? It can be self-hate, self-loathing. That happens too. But it's more of an ethnicist thing. It's more of a sellout thing. They hate themselves more than they hate other people. Like this Xavier dude. He hates himself. He want to be white so bad. He want to be accepted so bad. It's sad, man. Being black is a beautiful thing. Being black American is a better thing.
You made a point a couple minutes back where you said he just kind of says these things to rile up his base. Why does he need to do that at the expense of black people then?
He doesn't do that at the. I am a member of his base, and I'm sitting there like, oh man, this is amazing. And I don't know, you can call me self-loathing, you can call me self-hating,
so you're
you can call
saying
me
calling
racist.
for the public execution of 5 black men that were exonerated to
When
rile
has he
up
done
his
that
base?
during the campaign trail? He didn't.
This nigga said, when did he do that during the campaign trail? Do it matter when he did it? So if he did it during the campaign trail, would it change the difference that he said it, motherfucker? Nigga, if I get a cocaine charge, if I shot a nigga 10 years ago, if I get cocaine charge today, nigga, they still bringing that gun charge up. Nigga, it's like your history matters. Your history matters. What the fuck you mean he didn't say that during his campaign? You're still setting, you know it. So just because he said he didn't say it during the campaign, it don't count. You little goofy. Stop having, see, why they got kids up here? He's a kid. He's 18. Who was 18? Who was way more serious than him? He's a little frail, man. He's a little soft, little pudding pop.
Didn't do that when he was a politician.
Well,
He did that when he
again,
was a scared businessman in New York.
It's
feeling
everything
bad.
Steve said about the comments about Muslims, the comments about Mexican immigrants. Why does
never
he
about Mexican immigrants, never about Muslims, about terrorists and about criminals and rapists. These are very important delineations to make. And if you believe
I
that
think
what
you
fed the media
understand,
about,
or
oh, it's all
I think
Mexican immigrants, I think it's more of you being, oh man, oh, these poor Mexicans, they need to be supported. It's more of that savior complex. Wow,
What was
we're
the
back
rationale
again.
behind axing or trying to axe DACA? Were these people were registered with the federal government, they were in school, they were doing everything that they needed to do. They had no home elsewhere. They were brought into this country as minors. Like, what's the explanation for that?
I think that requires more nuance. Like I mentioned before.
Explanation for them is fuck them. Explanation for them kids is fuck them. Deport them. I don't want those kids going to compete with my kids or my grandkids. So that's not our problem. That's their parents' problem. She never came here anyway illegally. Fuck them. So the result to DACA kids is fuck them.
The only path forward to solving illegal immigration starts with amnesty for everybody here. The reality is there's some 10 to 15 million illegal immigrants here. We're not deporting them all.
Who gives a fuck if we don't deport them all? Put them all in prison. If they're here illegally, it's a crime. Put them all in prison, deport the rest. They deported all the motherfucking Haitians who came here that one time. Nigga, it's enough planes to deport these motherfuckers. Put them in prison until we could deport them. Put them in prison until we could deport them. That's not our problem. Americans need jobs. Let's build more jails and put these illegal immigrants in, put the kids in foster home. You put all the fucking people during the crack epidemic and throw the kids in foster homes. There's no exception to the rule. We ain't about to play the forgiveness game. Nigga, my generation ain't my grandparents' generation. Trust and believe that shit. Nigga, Jesus don't live here. Jesus don't live here. Straight cheese. All that forgiveness shit. Nah, nigga, a lot of my peers was in foster homes. A lot of our mothers was, nigga, no, fuck that. A lot of our fathers was in jail. Put them through the same shit. Ain't nobody gonna get treated better than we got treated here. Fuck that. I'm not for that. Nah, if we gotta go through it, put them do it too. Mass incarcerate these illegal immigrants because it's illegal to be here. They shouldn't be walking in the street. Cops got jobs to do. This is a good job for them. Let these white cops profile these Mexicans and these illegal immigrants. Even white immigrants, they here too. These Canadians, these Europeans, nigga, arrest them too. Put them in jail too. Put them in jail. And the forgiveness don't live here. Nah, if we got through it, y'all get through it. Gotta earn y'all stripes in America, baby. Shit ain't just giving. We ain't giving nothing to y'all that it wasn't given to us. If we was giving pain to we sharing the pain. Arrest these motherfuckers. Hire more cops to arrest these motherfuckers. Cops will love. Listen, America will love to put. How much is that? I think it's 3 million people in prison right now, right? Nigga, we got 15 more million criminals out here that we know who are criminals. Nigga, that will boost the fucking economy. You know how many people? I'll get a job. Yeah, my last podcast, my homeboy Fat was like, he just came home. He was like, nigga, I said I'll be a fucking ISIS informant. He was like, nigga, you said that shit, nigga, you crazy. Nigga, yes, I'll be an ISIS informant. Nigga, top cop. Nigga, nigga, come out of the house, won't have shit on me, nigga. Top cop. Nigga, top cop. Nigga, I'll do it for free. I will be an ISIS informant. I'll do it for free. Just give me the badge. Give me the badge, boss. Shit.
So I grew up conservative, but I did have more left-leaning ideas about like Black Lives Matter and critical race theory, and I was watching a lot of YouTube, and you know, I did agree that Black people were oppressed and all of these different things, and that we were kind of got the short end of the stick. And during 2020, when there was, you know, everything crazy was happening, and I started organizing rallies against the mandates because I thought that they were just totally unconstitutional and un-American. And then George Floyd dies, and initially I was like enraged like everybody else, and then it started to become this weird like political like agenda masquerading or behind his face. Like it just, the face of what was actually happening started to peel off. And I was like, oh, I mean, I would counter-protest BLM activists at my town square when I lived in Texas. And they were some of the most just bitter, vile, horrible people you could ever meet. Meanwhile, like the Confederate group that would protest there against them also, they were like the nicest people ever to me, ironically.
So why would a Confederate group be nice to a black woman? For one, was your boyfriend in the Confederate group? For two, why was you boycotting BLM? Because you are, bitch, you in the Confederate group. You conservative. You wouldn't defend on white people because I'm pretty sure it was nobody. Your mom is white. I'm pretty sure your granddaddy had conservative views. I'm sure you grew up with them good old boys. Your mom might be more liberal than you, but the thing is, your mom got from Texas. Texas is very conservative. There's no liberals in fucking Texas. The black people in Texas are not fucking liberal. Bitch, you was a Confederate. You told it yourself. And you a cute little light-skinned bitch, too. Bitch got the Halle Berry look. This bitch got the Halle Berry look. I ain't gonna lie. Damn. I still fuck a bad wench, dog.
I grew up in a Democratic, not a Democratic household, but kind of apolitical, but everybody was Democrat. And then I got a job. And when I got a job and I saw all the taxes come out and I started looking to the left and to the right and going, oh, my money's whittling away over here. And I said, you know what? After Reagan, I'm just going to go ahead and declare myself.
This Honey Mustard Aunt your mama really, like, what is she? I don't know her last name. I can't find her social media. What is this? This golden Aunt your mama. You don't see people with that complexion as Black American. My nigga Fat A is a weird looking Black American, but I know his mom. I know his grandma. So I ain't never see a golden Black motherfucker. She's a golden honey mustard type. And she's Kamala Harris out.
I'm a Republican, and I've been a Republican ever since.
My mom is pretty liberal. She married my stepdad when I was like 15, 16 in high school, and he's super conservative, like loved Trump, diehard Trump fan. And they had a lot of like back and forth, hearing the two sides, like people who are on such polar opposites just like argue all the time about stuff, seeing that there's a lot of similarities.
Hey, Snow Bunny. Liberal white girls like black dick and they like trains and they're like you pissing on them and they talk salads and all that shit. And you know the funny thing is about all this shit is, if them conservative Black niggas ain't gay, them niggas love some white bitches. White bitches be nasty as fuck. They be first bitch I ever ran a train on was a white bitch. First bitch who ever swallowed my cum was a white bitch. First bitch who my style was a white bitch. White bitches is, hey white bitches. That the Umar gonna be mad as fuck when you say they don't give a fuck.
Similarities in both sides, like the far radical left and the far radical right, they have a lot of similarities. They just don't want to come and like see it.
I started off actually kind of similar to you. I went to a Jesuit high school. I grew up very conservative. My mom is Cuban, so ride or die Bush supporter, who is now a ride or die Trump supporter. I think the
Cubans be very maggot out. Cubans, like out of all the Latinos, Cubans are the most conservative. Maybe because of Fidel Castro, I don't know, but they be mad conservative, yo. They get in America and they lock that fucking door, they weld it shut. No other, you don't give a fuck about Cubans. Out of all like Latinos, Cubans, Argentinos don't give a fuck about the Latino community, really. They don't give a fuck. Like Puerto Ricans, I think out of all the Latinos, Mexicans and Latinos go the hardest. Them other Latinos don't give a fuck about other groups. Cubans don't give a fuck about Latinos. Dominicans don't either. Dominicans don't give a fuck about Latinos. Dominicans don't give a fuck about nobody but Dominicans. They hate Puerto Ricans and Mexicans.
The point in my life when I was the most like libertarian was probably the lowest point in my life financially. And I think it's because something that conservatives do really well is they make you feel like you can always like succeed as long as you work hard enough. And that's something that progressives and liberals suck at. That you're a victim of systemic racism, you're Black, so you're going to be discriminated against, you're a woman, so nobody's going to care about your feelings, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Whereas Republicans will tell you, listen, if you work hard, you can do whatever you want, like just as long as you're willing to put in the work. And
Republicans say you to work hard because they the fucking business owners. They need employees. Yeah, work hard. You come up. Meanwhile, they fighting to lower your fucking wages and not want to pay you fucking bonuses. Conservatives are good for that shit. All your bosses will be conservative. 9 out of 10 times, if they own a business, they're conservative. Anytime they need to work hard. I'm gonna let you know a little secret. White people don't like working hard. They like to be managers. They like to see other people work hard. They like to be higher up in the ranks. But they don't like doing hard work themselves. Nigga, I know white people. They don't like working hard. And they always get better jobs for more. And white people are the kings of getting paid more and doing less. They're the kings of that shit.
I felt that way up to the moment where I was losing my house, where I had an ex-girlfriend that was pregnant, where I had been fired from my previous job. There was a whole bunch of horrible stuff going on in my life. And I very, very luckily got into online content creation. And from there, as I started to make more money, I started to pay more taxes. When I get older and I look at taxes that come out of my paycheck, I care a little bit, but it was just so funny to me that back when I was making $15,000, $20,000 a year, I'm like, I gotta vote for the lower tax bracket, blah, blah, blah. Like, I'm barely paying any taxes anyways. And now that I'm older, like if the government wants to take, a few, 10, 20, whatever, how many more $1,000 out.
You just said you worked hard.
I did, but I got very, very, very lucky doing so. Very lucky.
Do you think it's just luck?
It's not just luck, but the difference is that
You didn't get lucky. You was white. Because he was a black content creator. You ain't have all them fucking... Nah. But I must admit, though, Destiny made good arguments. He got good content. I ain't gonna lie. Destiny made good content, though. No matter how liberal a white person is, no matter how many black friends they have, the racism, it just in them. Small little niggas, you gotta catch that shit. But it's in them. And I bet he don't mean no harm. See, racism is a scale between 15 to 100. At the very least, every racist is a 15. No matter how friendly somebody white is, they got that 15% racist. It's subtle. You don't notice it. You don't notice racism until about 30%. They can't hide it after 31%. They can't hide it. It has to show. But it's slight. Even if she like black dick, listen to rap music, she has racism in them. They can't help it. This is America. And I ain't mad at that.
So I used to be a liberal. I voted for Bernie Sanders in 2016, as much as I regret that now. My family was pretty left-wing. Some of the people in my family were like radically left, like would refer to white people as blue-eyed, red-headed devils, things of that nature. And as I got older, I actually started being really outspoken for BLM. I was supposed to be on a reality show teaching people how to be a BLM activist. At the time, I did a deep dive on BLM, and I started to realize all of these lies. So then I took a step back. I'm like, okay, what else am I being lied to about? And I started looking at the Democratic Party and questioning my own loyalty to being on the left.
I personally think...
I'm going to say this, man. Black Americans always lean left, but left doesn't mean Democrat. MLK wasn't a Democrat. He was more of a communist. He's more of a socialist. All socialism means is equality, shared resources. Socialism threatens capitalism because socialism threatens white supremacy. If we all socialists, we all getting the same thing. We all making the same. It's pretty much equality. White people don't want equality. They're conserving white supremacy. Conservatives mean to save old ways, old traditions. White Jesus, white supremacy, white hierarchy. You can be cool white people, but they'll still tell you, man, I don't want to give you none of my wealth. I don't want to, if my grandparents robbed your grandparents and I'm living in a home, I don't want to give that home up so I could be homeless even though it belongs to you. A white woman told me this. A chiropractor, her name was, she said, listen, I'm for reparations, but not at the expense of me giving you everything. I'll pay out my taxes. She was kind of cool about it. I'm just being honest. She was honest about it, but I respect that. But my whole thing is, you're only conserving what you have. Blacks never had nothing to conserve. What we have? Police brutality, racism, being hung, being left out of the motherfucking government goodies and giveaways, everyone against us. Blacks, see, we progressive. We want equality. Most of us. Give us reparations or give us revolution.
Both sides tend to be racist in different ways. I don't think the government is on the side of the people in general, and that's just me being, a radical.
When I was young, I used to jump for joy and say, oh yeah, Obama, black president, that's so amazing. He's the same color as me. But when I started to do more research, one of the biggest things I was confused about is, well, why is he a Democrat?
Well, the reason you was confused because Obama's not black like you, young Anakin. Obama is African and white. Obama is raised white. He is not cultured. See, you can have African DNA but not be a black person, because a black person is a person of the American South that was tied to the Emancipation Proclamation, freed American slaves. Obama can't relate to black people. Obama was an alleged homosexual. Obama allegedly smoked crack. Obama is a coon and a token. Obama did nothing for black Americans. Obama did everything for homosexuals. Obama did everything for homosexuals. Obama did everything. All the thing you see now, all this liberal shit, this LGBTQT shit, that's Obama's work. The black American didn't know shit like that. We don't give a fuck about no shit like that. The LGBTQ run interference with black American progress and struggle. They run interference. Just like feminism run interference with black woman progress. All these groups, if you are black and not part of the black American collective, you're not black. I don't give a fuck what your DNA say. If you ain't culturally black, it's certain nuances and certain things we do that you just don't have. You don't move like us. You don't think like us. You don't behave like us. Black American is just more than being African genetic. It's a lifestyle, man. You have to be born in it and live in it, and you're gonna die in it. That's being a black American. It ain't being secluded from your people. The difference between a black American and a coon is a black American is like a wolf. The coon is like a dog. Malcolm X said there's two types of Negroes, the house Negro and the field Negro. I'm saying There's these type of field Negroes. There's a field nigga who want to burn this shit down and run, kill everybody. There's a field nigga that's content with just staying where he at. And it's a field nigga who want to be in the house. That's what you niggas is. You niggas is field niggas who want to be in the house. Once we leave, nigga, you's a field nigga again. I mean, you getting whooped. Because when we leave, the frustration is going to get taken on you. That's how that works. Kids don't let ask for what? You're going to die anyway? You're going to die anyway. How you want to die? You want to die standing up? You want to die sucking dick?
And I was feeling a bit entitled, like everything should be handed to me because I was black, because I was very much in that mentality. As I learned more about free markets, as I learned more about capitalism.
The GI Bill was socialism. White wealth came from socialism. Before the GI Bill, everybody was poor and everybody was begging for socialism. Government bailouts to banks is socialism. Capitalism can't survive without socialism. Check it out. You get a job thinking you're a capitalist for a company that is a capitalist, right? But this company pays you and you pay taxes, and the taxes pays the government pays them subsidies to stay in business. Because when companies get too big, they can't really run on a profit deficit. They usually, without subsidies, will fall under. The government keep the capitalism scam going. If the government never paid these companies, they'll all will go under. The companies who go under lose favor with the government. That's how it works. See, you're ignorant. Redlining is a social program. School lunch is a social program. How you against free education or free medical? Though we don't get it, but how would you be against that? How would you be against equality? You rather be at capitalism? You rather play a game that's rigged. You're playing with Monopoly with 4 million people sharing 1% of the wealth against everybody else who's sharing 90% of the wealth. There are white people who own more money than all the black Americans combined. How can you be a capitalist? How you playing in a game where all the property is bought?
And then people want to talk about, well, there's plenty of people who pulled themselves up by their bootstraps and got it on their own. Why can't they do that? Let me explain to you something about economics in America. And I'm so glad that as a child, I got an opportunity to spend time at Push where they taught me this, is that we must never forget that economics was the reason that black people were brought to this country. We came to do the agricultural work in the South and the textile work in the North. Do you understand that? That's what we came to do. We came to do the agricultural work in the South and the textile work in the North. Now, if I right now decided that I wanted to play Monopoly with you, and for 400 rounds of playing Monopoly, I didn't allow you to have any money, I didn't allow you to have anything on the board, I didn't allow for you to have anything. And then we played another 50 rounds of Monopoly, and everything that you gained and you earned while you were playing that round of Monopoly was taken from you. That was Tulsa, that was Rosewood. Those are places where we built black economic wealth, where we were self-sufficient, where we owned our stores, where we owned our property, and they burned them to the ground. So that's 450 years. So for 400 rounds of Monopoly, you don't get to play at all. Not only do you not get to play, you have to play on the behalf of the person that you're playing against. You have to play and make money and earn wealth for them, and then you have to turn it over to them. So then for 50 years, you finally get a little bit and you're allowed to play. And every time that they don't like the way that you're playing, or that you're catching up, or that you're doing something to be self-sufficient, they burn your game. They burn your cards. They burn your Monopoly money. And then finally at the release and the onset of that, they allow you to play and they say, okay, now you catch up. Now at this point, the only way you're going to catch up in the game is if the person shares the wealth, correct? But what if every time you share the wealth, then there's psychological warfare against you to say, oh, you're an equal opportunity hire. So if I played 400 rounds of Monopoly with you and I had to play and give you every dime that I made, and then for 50 years, every time that I played, if you didn't like what I did, you got to burn it like they did in Tulsa and like they did in Rosewood, how can you win? How can you win? You can't win. The game is fixed. So when they say, why do you burn down the community? Why do you burn down your own neighborhood? It's not ours. We don't own anything. We don't own anything. Trevor Noah said it so beautifully last night. There's a social contract that we all have, that if you steal or if I steal, then the person who is the authority comes in and they fix the situation. But the person who fixes the situation is killing us. So the social contract is broken. And if the social contract is broken, why the do I give a shit about burning the Football Hall of Fame, about burning the Target? You broke the contract when you killed us in the streets and didn't give up. You broke the contract when for 400 years we played your game and built your wealth. You broke the contract when we built our wealth again on our own by our bootstraps in Tulsa and you dropped bombs on us. When we built it in Rosewood and you came in and you slaughtered us. You broke the contract, so your Target, your Hall of Fame. As far as I'm concerned, they could burn this bitch to the ground.